Let's give you the markets now. And local trade expected to sustain its gains this morning. The rand firming up to its strongest level yet, seen almost 4 weeks ago yesterday, gaining for the fifth consecutive session after the government said it would consider moving the Brics summit out of the country. Let's speak now to the Chief Investment Officer at Makwe Fund Managers, Makwe Masilela. Mr. Masilela, thank you for your time. Let's begin with your quick overview of how the markets are faring in early trade.
Markets continue to be in a holding pattern, and all because we're moving our focus back to the U.S. interest rate next week, Wednesday, and the European Bank interest rate decision on Thursday. That's next week. But now we've seen that the Australian central bank surprised us with a 25 basis point increase, and yesterday we had the Bank of Canada doing the same. So as a result, we've started to dial back our expectations that the U.S. central bank will definitely pause come next week, Wednesday. So markets continue to be directionless, and there's a vacuum when it comes to news.
Well, let's talk about the OECD slightly raising its growth outlook for the world economy on Wednesday as inflation eases and China dropping its COVID restrictions. But it is warning that the recovery faces a long road. Should we expect a different economic state towards the end of the year?
Definitely, we should expect one, and the recovery will continue to be uneven. Number one, we've seen with China itself, data coming out there continues to be mixed. As much as we're excited that they've managed to reopen their economy in December, you look into our GDP, it managed to surprise us to the upside, but will that be sustained? We don't think so, all because of COVID as well. And inflation, as much as it might be going down, but will continue to be at elevated levels. And as it stands now, then it means central banks have to leave interest rates at those levels, and we also have to guard against what we call great inflation. That is, you get that salaries are going up, and now instead of that eating into the profits of the companies continue to increase their profit margins. And you look into the data that we got from Japan as well this morning, it surprised us to the upside, but we are waiting to see the European Central Bank or the Eurozone GDP numbers that will be released later in the session. And also data coming out of the US continue to be mixed. So I think the recovery will continue to be uneven.
Let's talk commodities. Oil prices dipping in early trade as demand concerns tied to a global economic slowdown overshadowed a pending fall in the supply, with Saudi Arabia pledging the output cuts. Help us make sense of those developments.
I think we'll continue to trade in a narrow range, reason being you get the OPEC, the likes of Saudi, committing that they will definitely cut production. So meaning there won't be supply. That's all good. That's supposed to help oil prices to go up. But now on the other hand, you see that there's no demand. And now if there's no demand, what's the point of you cutting supply? And we also seen with the oil inventories, they continue to go up, and that's an indication that there's no demand. And as we just said, when it comes to the likes of the global economic growth, if it continues to grow at this pattern, which is not too convincing, then definitely there won't be demand out there. Yes, the likes of China, we still expect them to probably meet their growth target of almost 5%. We still expect the likes of the US to most probably not fall into a recession, and also the likes of Germany probably to recover. But the biggest question here is demand is not there. Hence, we should expect oil prices to continue to trade within a narrow range.
Let's conclude with company news. At Discovery Life, paying out a total of 11 billion rand to clients in 2022. This is basically the claims that are linked to either uncertain life-altering events or shared value benefits. This is according to the group's annual claims review. Let's talk about the trends we are seeing here, Mr. Masilela, and also factor into that response. Consumers, are they cutting their insurance at this period?
We'll start with the easy answer. Yes, they are cutting. Reason being, when consumers have or are under pressure, one of the easiest things to do, not necessarily that is the right thing to do, is to cut on your insurance, on your policies, because we won't know that you are not covered out there up until there is an accident or there's an event that needs all that. And yes, the guys now they paid 11 billion. Out of that, 9.1 is directly related to claims, and the balance is more into the value-added products or benefits that are given to their guys. And it's down from the 12 billion they paid. The most important thing is that, yes, as much as there are no longer serious claims when it comes to COVID death, but you get COVID-related issues, that is like the likes of cancer as well. They continue to pay for that. And you get also unnatural causes. You look at the likes of motor vehicle accidents, claims thereof, they account for almost 30% because with COVID restrictions being relaxed, then people are going back to their way of doing things. Hence, you start having other claims like motor vehicle accident claims.
Makwe Masilela, thank you very much for that markets update. He is the Chief Investment Officer at Makwe Fund Managers. Let's continue.